Abhinav Rastogi joining us, and we are going to be talking to him about many things. And one of the things that we are going to focus on is, career success. A lot of customer success people have that question. The journey that we are going to talk about Abhinav's journey. Where he is at, and he's a senior leader in customer success at a large B2B SaaS company. And so, without wasting any more time, I will turn it over to Abhinav if he wants to say hello, introduce himself, and maybe jump right into the first part of the conversation, which is about customer journey. His journey through his career and how he is got into the place where he is at right now. Welcome, Abhinav.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Shankar, for having me here. And hello, everyone. I'm like Shankar mentioned, I'm Abhinav Rastogi. I'm working right now as a senior customer success manager in an B2B SaaS company. Majorly ensures it's in the edtech space for learning and management of the corporate employees. So, with this chat in this session, my objective is to reflect about my journeys, what has helped me to become a customer success leader, and contribute to you in your success by answering few questions and reflecting on my path. So happy to be here and talk about Shankar.
Yeah, okay. Thanks, Abhinav. So, I mean, let's talk about after you graduated and what were the various options you had in terms of choosing a career path and why did you choose the career path that you did? Let's start with that.
Right. So, Shankar, like people say that you don't choose your first job chooses you. So, it was the same case for me when I graduated from my MBA college. Uh, I was a management trainee. I work in a company wherein I get an opportunity to reflect upon different domains: operations, marketing, HR, customer success, or sales. And I somehow realized that my passion is really on thinking on the ground and interacting with the clients on the ground and building that relationship with them. Like, I'm not somebody who wanted to sit at one place and see how things are moving. I really wanted to have that real physical connect with the clients and to understand their pulse and to ensure that they are delighted with the product and services that we are offering. So in a stint in the company where I joined as a management trainee, I was working for 6 months into different roles. Like I mentioned, I also get an opportunity to work in sales, pre-sales, and customer success. But customer success was one that profession that my manager and my mentor also realized that I can do well, and I also realized that I really wanted to be in that position where I am a trusted advisor to a customer. So customer success is a beautiful domain, which I am very much fortunate that I able to get in along with, where you get an opportunity to be a trusted advisor to a customer. Really, you act like a consultant to the customer, and you are the one who represent the customer within your organization. And be it collaborating with marketing team, HR team, sales team, operations team, engineering team, support team, you are the really the center of the stage, and everything revolves around you. That also comes up with lots of ownership, that you have to ensure that your clients are not churning, they are delighted. If anything goes here and there, it's always the customer success manager who is being accountable for. And that really gives you a place where you are in a decision making stage to ensure that somebody is happy and somebody is delighted with the product and services they are taking. So I got this opportunity initial part of my career, and from there to now, I think more than 8 years now, I am in this domain, in customer success domain, and working to manage and help my clients. Initially, I was working as an IC, individual contributor. Now I work as more of a customer success leader, wherein my responsibility is to mentor and coach my team, internally lay down the processes that will help the my customer team members and client to work effectively in tangent. It lot involve lot of internal and external stakeholders management, and I also ensure that certain strategic thinking is being done, so that we are not only doing operational work as a customer success manager, but we are also doing strategic thinking and really generate ROI to the customer with the product and services they are using. in the SaaS industry.
So, Abhinav, you mentioned that you got an opportunity to work in a little bit in pre-sales, some in sales, and then in customer success. So a lot of um, fresh graduates, they have this question as to, like you said, the first job chooses
Right.
you, and they might be chosen by one of pre-sales or sales, and how would you kind of do a quick kind of pros and cons between these three areas: pre-sales, sales, and customer facing job functions such as customer success?
Shankar, I'm glad that you asked that question, and especially when I was also an B school graduate. Trust me, I didn't knew an idea about like how these three terms are different and how it comes into picture. The topic is very relevant. So in pre-sales, you start with a clean slate, right? You don't have any scope of the work. You don't know any background about your client, right? It's majorly a role of discovery, wherein you know your product, you know your services, and on a blind-sided way, in a process-driven manner, you are trying to understand to do a matchmaking between who can be your potential customer and ensure that whatever services and expectation they have from the product, you will be able to manage it. And it was majorly a matchmaking role, right? When it comes to sales, whenever a deal is transit from pre-sales, like it's a level one where you will check whether the prospect that a sales team will be holding will be a relevant prospect or not. For example, if somebody is looking for a high assessment driven content partner in edtech industry, and we are somebody who has positioned ourselves as a content aggregator, then it might become an expectation mismatch for the customer, and later on that will lead to churn in the customer life cycle. So pre-sales really ensures that whatever client that we have, it is our target consumer. When it comes to sales, sales is a beautiful podium wherein it's majorly about ensuring that you are conducting demos, you are negotiating with the clients. It's majorly about convincing a new customer that how we will be able to be better and able to meet their expectation and will serve them best, and how we are better than our competitors also. So it's always that cycle that keeps on running, that to have prospect and move that prospect from negotiation to contracting stage and final deal closer, right? And it's a powerhouse. A sales team is a powerhouse of any organization. They are the one who really brings business in the organization. Whereas customer success are very, very different from pre-sales and sales, wherein scope is being defined. You receive a clear cut boundary, a template in which a CSM is expected to work. You know client expectation, you know client know product expectation, and you have to ensure that whatever scope is being agreed by committed by the sales team, you are able to match that expectation to them. So in customer success, it's majorly about ensuring that customers are delighted, they are able to generate ROI of the platform. Customer success also ensure that I'm so sorry, that training of the platform is being done. So in the sales, in the pre-sales, client able to understand the platform at a very superficial level. But when actually it comes with the customer success team, client team is very, very much engaged and eager about to understand how exactly the platform works and how it can help them to contribute in their business goals. So it comes with lot of ownership, lot of customization for a client, lot of personalization to ensure that client has been happy and able to generate ROI for the services.
So, Abhinav, one of the responsibilities for people in customer success (CSMs) has been and is still is upselling, cross selling, and those kinds of things. And sales is kind of, as you pointed out, responsible for bringing in new business. Do you think having some exposure to sales can make for a better CSM along the way when they are taking over the responsibility of growing business?
Right, Shankar, I think that's very relevant. There is no second thought about it. Is that if somebody in their initial part of career are going through sales, it will be a lot of add-on value for you to become a good customer success manager. It help in many ways. First of all, working in sales make you accustomed prone to failures, because in sales you have lot of that burnout, that deal getting closed in the getting fail in the last stage of the cycle. So as a CSM, it makes you much more strong headed, and it makes you much more accustomed to understand that things can go wrong, and it will also give us a way to figure out how to ensure that you are able to manage clients effectively. Also, in my experience, whenever you are doing any cross sell or upsell in customer success domain, you have to do really a number calculation. Many organization, in fact most of the organization, have an net dollar retention targets in their company, which talks about that if you are holding a portfolio of $1,000, that has to be incremented to $140 or $200, right? So that kind of targets really help you to analyze a customer not only as a consultant, but as your potential buyer for the new services and the extension services of your company.
Yeah, and there's actually, someone just commented, which is that in order for CSMs to be successful, they need to have a good relationship with the sales team.
Absolutely.
And I think uh, for a CSM to know the life that sales is living, I think helps them in that regard. Would you agree to that?
Yeah, it makes you more empathetic actually. And see, from the order form is being signed to the client renewal, I think sales and CSM works in tandem. They are never alone anywhere. Whenever client is going live or client is in initial phase, sales and CS often do conversation whether client is being happy or there is an expectation mismatch. They collectively ensure that the client is successful, and in renewal and in upsell, their expertise really contribute. I'll tell you in my experience how it also happens, right? Let's say CSM is somebody who is interacting with the customer day in day out. Let's say you are a customer and I am a CSM. I'm reaching out to you on a day in day out. Now your expectation from a CSM is majorly going to be on the product side, on the ROI side, right? If I am going to come again and again to you that why not you try this product, or why cannot you experiment with this upsell opportunity that can add more value to you, maybe you as a customer will not be that much confident, because you see me as a trusted advisor, you see me as a customer success professional who will be solutioning the existing product. But many times it happens that whenever the conversation are not moving, we introduce salesperson or key account manager, I would say, from the sales team, who specifically talk about the agenda of renewal and upsell, and they are able to convince client in a much more better way, because they are the one who close the client at first place, that if this has worked for you, the other product can also happen, do and wonder to you. So it's really a team of mixed doubles where CS and sales also work collaboratively. In my experience, I have seen that if sales take an ownership of client renewal and CS ensure that customer is delighted and their solutioning has been done right, the deals goes really awesome. The renewals are quicker, the deals are magnanimous, and we get great ROI for our businesses. That happens. So it's a great team up.
Okay, so on that positive note, let's move to the second part of the conversation, which is, in terms of lessons that you have learned, Abhinav. I mean, if you can probably maybe talk about the top two or top three lessons that you would like to share with the audience.
Right. So not the generic one, but I think from my experience, I really wanted to see what I have not seen in many people, and which can become a differentiating factor when you are getting promoted or being successful in any company, is generating the credibility and a greater goodwill, right? So be it you are connecting with your manager or your skip level manager, if you are very much thorough with your work, with your diligence in doing every task that you are doing, then certainly you will be able to build a great goodwill within the company and a credibility that really takes you to an higher level in life. Second, I would say any organization, be it startup or a full-grown organization, really expect a new joiner or a person to be very quick learner and adaptive, right? So every company will be coming up with their own product, their own culture, their own biases, and their own expectation. If you are somebody who can mold up to the client expectations or to the company's expectation, if you have that kind of an adaptability and agile learning ability, you can really do well in your careers. And last but definitely not the least is about ensuring that you are somehow somebody who's taking ownership of things, right? So if you are giving me a task to do 2 plus 2, right, my job doesn't end there. I have to be somebody who should see 4 plus 4 what is going to be, right? So if you are somebody who can think beyond the lens of what is being expected out of you, it can really add value in your career path.
Yeah, no, just to pull on that, I mean, the last point is that you almost need to think what your manager is thinking, right? Which is
Right.
that what's the next step from that 2 plus 2 is in the simple example you mentioned. So, yes, I mean, I think thinking a little bit, above and beyond what is your expected role, I think is definitely a good thing, not just in the customer facing teams, but in any team. And then let's talk about the flip, which is like, some of the challenges you faced, what were some of the low points, and like some of, maybe if you can give a couple of stories from, working with maybe difficult situations or customers or what have you, and then how did you, you know, kind of, manage it. Sometimes you just have to manage a situation, and sometimes you can actually succeed in delighting a customer. So let's just, kind of, dig in a little deeper into, those kinds of situations where you had to really, you know do the best possible Abhinav that you could be.
Right, I think that's a very very uh, question that I can really relate of, and a very valid question. One thing I would say, Shankar, that as a CSM specifically, you need to know art of saying no, right? It's a beautiful ability that you really learn with experience. uh, as a customer success manager, for ensuring that your customer is delighted, you cannot say yes to everything, but you should have to build that kind of an conscience and that kind of an resilience within yourself, that you will be able to understand the situation pragmatically, what customer is expecting, what our product team is expecting, what is a gap between the two, difference between the two, and to know the and so winning their trust, right? To taking me a future request to be email, right? If you're expecting this, right? If I simply say no, right, like I don't value you, customer success manager. If I'm dying, that being empathetic to your problems and able to communicate to you, not able to request of yours, and what is a workaround we can offer, maybe that really really puts you in a place where you strike really a balance between being an effective customer success manager or being a rude or an adamant customer success manager, right? So there is a difference between the two. uh,
No, no, that's a good point. I mean, because customers, I think, not just for reasons you mentioned, but also to be able to take why the request got turned down and talk to their management. Because remember, I mean, CSMs talk to people who themselves have their management chain. And if that request came from their team or organization, they need to be able to either explain your viewpoint as a CSM, or they are not, or they are not buying what you're telling them, and so they need to communicate to them that, oh well, my CSM is telling me this, but we need this for whatever it is, right? So you need to be able to give them a lot more visibility into the thought process behind the no than just the facade of a no.
right,
And as
correct.
long as they can see what drove that no, then that puts them in a position of a good position, not a position of power, but at least a good position to be able to talk to their peers, their teammates, and also their management chain and explain to them that this is what happened, this is what I explained. Because many times I've seen from my experience that people are not able to explain their request,
Right,
and so, Abhinav, as a CSM, you say no to the request you understood, but their request might have been a little different. And then when you give them reasons and they talk to their team internally, then the team might say, "Oh, but why did you ask that? That's not what we're asking. We're
right.
asking for this." So it's not always about on the vendor side. Sometimes the request itself might not have been communicated correctly. So explaining the reasons, and that can surface the actual request as opposed to whatever the request was communicated in the first place.
One thing I would also
Um,
like you to add, if since we are speaking on this line, is just one last thing would be how to prioritize your work, right? CS being in the CSM position makes you overwhelming with lots of things that you handle in your task, right? And everybody, internal stakeholder, external stakeholder, reach out to you. So as a CSM, if you have an ability to manage your time and prioritize your account, that what is important and what is not that much important, if you can build that kind of a sense, that can really also make you from a good CSM to the great CSM, right? So that also
no, no,
plays a role.
good point. Good point. I mean, I think prioritization is something that we all struggle with. And as you said, people, I think that's a problem also in sales because they have so many leads that you're looking at, and you cannot, follow, pursue every single lead. You need to prioritize. You need to see, what is more important. And same thing goes for CSM folks as well. So yeah, I mean, prioritization is definitely one skill. So actually, that takes me to the last topic for today's conversation, which is skills and competencies. You mentioned prioritization, right? That's a skill. What other skills should someone, let's say, who is in sales or pre-sales, um, develop or focus on to transition into more of a customer success role?
I think one of the skills that is common between pre-sales, sales, and CS is effective communication skills. So if somebody is having effective communication skills, there is a first checkpoint that you are eligible to transit from pre-sales, sales to customer success. What really a differentiating factor can be is one skill that I see, empathy, right? So in being in the shoes of customer success, you are being expected to be more empathetic to the customer needs and their experiences in comparison to a pre-sales or a salesperson, because sales cycle is very short, for a quarter maybe, but your journey as a CSM is for years and a long lasting relationship with the organization, right? Whichever accounts you work with. So empathy really plays a great role. Second, I would say process driven mindset. So you not only have to work, but you have to work with a process driven mindset, that whatever steps that you need to follow, you're expected to do that internally. Whatever playbooks has been used internally, you are able to adhere to that processes and then manage it effectively. Whatever your leaders has been communicated to manage your things internally. And last but definitely most important would be to think on your feet and be a strategic thinker, right? If you are just only being reactive or responsive to whatever things are coming or on your way, whether internally or externally, you're not doing a great job. You are expected to be a strategic thinker. You are expected to think on your feet and recommend great solutions to your customer, right? So if you are not reactive, you are proactive, reaching out to clients. If they are asking A, you are also thinking beyond A, right? So that really makes you a effective customer success manager in a longer run, Shankar.
Yeah, and just to add to that, Abhinav, I mean, I think support is reactive. So if in your example, if the customer has question A and you respond with, answer to question A, then you are actually playing a support role.
Right.
And what differentiates success type roles from support is being able to obviously provide either a response to A, or ask somebody else to respond to A if it's a very technical issue,
Right.
but at the same time guide them through the use case or the business value that they can get out of the product, because you can figure out proactively that if they're asking A, that's probably what they're trying to do, and which is probably a good thing they're doing, or maybe they're doing it the wrong way. So yes, so that kind of, because we talked a lot about sales support and then transitioning from that into customer success. The other big area that I've seen is from support to success.
Correct.
And a lot of time people in support want to know how can we become success. And I think you touched upon it, is that being able to think on your feet and being able to see more than just the question A, right? Because in support, you're so focused on a ticket opens up with this question, how do I log in? And then you respond with, okay, click on the login button and enter username, password, click submit, close ticket, right? I mean, I'm just simply oversimplifying, of course.
Correct.
But then the question is that, the success manager might have to think about, okay, why is he having to log in when we let people log in for a week, and I just talked to him, it's like, did he log out? Did he, what happened, right? I mean, did the servers crash? Something happened to the service? So those are kind of the questions that actually make for a great CSM, as you said. So anyway, so anything else, Abhinav, that we didn't touch upon that you would like to share with the audience uh, along the journey and turning points? Anything else that you feel that anyone who is considering a career in CSM uh, should be aware of?
So I would just end this session with one note saying that many people reaches out to me talking about how they can transit to customer success domain, and especially post pandemic success domain has been really a game changer, has been booming across geographies, and it's in huge demand. I would say there is few mythbusters I wanted to put right now. In few jobs you require to be technically expert, but in many job openings in customer success you don't expect it to be technically skilled for any of the courses. So it's majorly a softer management role, wherein you are expected to be a strategic thinker, where you expected to be a client advocate in a very very effective way. And many organizations are very open that you join the organization based on your skill set and you can acquire the technical knowledge eventually, right? And second, I would say that do not go with a fancy words of customer success. Ultimately it's about being a consultant to the customer and ensure that they are happy with the services. If you are somebody who is genuinely like to speak with people, interact with them, if you hold empathy to other people, and if you have that problem solving mindset, right, if you really wanted to ensure that you are making a difference and problem is getting solved, whatever customer is putting up on a day to day basis, then this is a right job for you and you can definitely give it a try in your professional journey.
Okay, thank you, Abhinav. I think it was a great conversation, and I learned a lot, and I hope the people listening and watching did the same. And if you liked, our shows, our webinars and chats, please subscribe to my channel on YouTube or LinkedIn, and connect with me on LinkedIn as well. And thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for having me, Shankar. I had a great time. Pleasure
Thank
interacting.
you. Okay, thanks, Abhinav.